Hello, my soccer universe. In the end, we didn't see any shock eliminations by Manchester City or PSG. All the big boys are through to the next round. However, the way that the draw sets up might actually give us some tasty ties already in the playoff round. However, for me, I was rather annoyed yesterday evening. A little bit was that it's just too many games to follow, and I tried my best, shut up everything and kept track of tables and so on. All the games, I had a 3-screen setup with a big screen, having a Sturm against Leipzig game, which was meaningless, but that's the only game I could put on a big screen, and then streaming the Milan game, which really downed me, and then having also on my iPad the goal show where they were switching back and forth between all the games. But it was a rather stressful experience, although I can see that this new format actually was quite interesting. A lot of changes occurred. Fortunately, not all of them were to my liking. So, if we talk about winners and losers, I mean, for me, the big winners are actually the big clubs because City had a chance of getting eliminated, went through. PSG, another really good performance. They actually seem scary, also through to the next round. Barcelona finish in top 2 as well. I mean, it's all as you would expect. Even Real Madrid and Bayern Munich get relatively high seeds. However, I'm rewarded with the potential of facing Manchester City in the playoff round. Also a big winner have to be the French clubs, despite not all of them winning. Actually, they had 2 big wins and 2 rather bad losses. However, the losses came to Inter and Real Madrid respectively. All of them are through to the next round. For a much maligned league, that's a pretty big statement as well. Also, the 2 Lisbon teams make it through to the next round, getting the necessary points, and Benfica are even in the seeded spot. On the other side, losers, I want to point the finger again at the Red Bull teams. However, that didn't surprise at this stage anyone. Huge loser Feyenoord. I mean, losing 6-1 at Lille. This was not very much expected in a game we actually could have finished in the top 8. However, the biggest loser has to be my favorite team in this entire competition, of course, Milan. I mean, Milan with a winner, Dinamo Zagreb, a team that you always have beaten rather easily, you would have finished in the top 6. You would have gone through to the round of 16. You're not only losing money, you're also losing quite some reputation along the way. And it was so self-inflicted. Yes, you were not great. I didn't expect much of the game. I was thinking maybe you get out of it a draw, but honestly, the expectation should be you go to Zagreb and you win that one, especially in this dreadful stadium. Yes, the Croatian fans are very fiery. However, the stadium takes half of that away. And losing to Fabio Cannavaro also, it all doesn't look good. But as I said, it was self-inflicted. First, Gavia falls over the ball, and then Yunus Musa gets himself completely unnecessarily sent off, and any chances of winning this game were already done then. And while many said a draw might be enough to finish in the top 8, no, it was not enough. A draw would have given you probably the 9th place, which actually would have resulted in a decent draw. Now, you're either facing Feyenoord, which means that all your claims for Santi Jimenez might get jeopardized by that, or Juventus. And Juventus is not good, but Juventus play actually quite nicely against Milan, so yeah. All the hopes for at least making a quarterfinal that I had ahead of this round were duly dashed, and you also completely waste your February because now you again have game after game after game after game with a squad that looks positively tired. So definitely the losers of that round. Everybody else that I didn't mention now, I mention now. Let's go game by game through yesterday's action. Villa get the much-needed 4-2 win over Celtic and secure 8th spot, meaning directly to the round of 16. However, the game was never that straightforward. I mean, yes, after 5 minutes, they had the lead through a Rogers brace, but then in the 36th and 38th, Ida actually managed to equalize for Celtic. However, second half, it then turns around. Ollie Watkins reestablishes the lead in the 60th, misses a penalty in almost comical fashion, the way he slips, and then Rogers completes his hat-trick after an Ollie Watkins assist as well. Celtic with that loss fall all the way to 21st spot. The 2-2 draw between Barcelona and Atalanta might have been the best match of the evening. However, it leaves with 2 losers in a way. With a win, Barcelona could have secured top spot. Yes, second spot is as good as top spot. However, just for show, finishing top would have been nice. And Atalanta just missed out. With a win, they would have been in the top 8. And Atalanta actually matched Barcelona quite nicely, took the lead through Zappacosta. I was called off for a rather odd offside because the Catalan pass that went right was then deflected back onto Zappacosta, but it was kind of unintentional. It was one of those weird rules that I really do not understand. In the second half, though, Barcelona came out better. Beautiful attacking move, one-touch football, Lewandowski to Rafinha, immediate to Lamine Yamal, who then with 3 touches puts it in the empty net. However, Ederson equalized in the 67th minute. Assist by Zappacosta, he dribbles through the Barca defense and then a rather humorless shot directly into the net. Araujo then, after a Rafinha corner, reestablishes Barcelona's lead. It is then equalized by Pajalic. Late on, Barcelona were a little bit more pressing to get this first spot. Atalanta though also had their chances, and so it ends with a 2-2 draw. That draw is actually a win for the Italian coefficient for next season. And Leverkusen also secured a top 8 spot, spot 6, with an unforced 2-0 win over Sparta Prague. Florian Wirtz, who else, gave them the lead. And then a Grimaldo free kick falls then to Teja, who slots it home for the second goal. Bayern Munich had slim hopes of finishing in the top 8. However, everyone knew with a huge result against last place Slovan Bratislava, they might actually finish at least in the top seeds of the playoff round. However, 3-1 was not enough. Yes, Thomas Müller already in the 5th minute gave Bayern the lead. However, then a lot of chances, but nothing really concrete if you would like. Harry Kane doubles the lead in the 63rd, Kingsley Coman in 84th makes it 3. And late on, with probably the goal of the evening in that game, Tolic pulls one back. Bayern only finish in 12th place. With a 3-0 win at Brest, Real Madrid match Bayern Munich's record. However, they win on the away tiebreaker. Rodrigo with a brace and Jude Bellingham scoring the 3 goals. And now Bayern Munich and Real Madrid are in the same pot and might face Manchester City. More on them in a bit. And rather disappointingly, Milan finished the league phase in spot 13th, falling all the way from 6th place. What a disappointing performance at Dinamo Zagreb. Yes, the midfield for Fana Reinders looked tired. However, it was all self-inflicted. Firstly, Gabia slips on the ball completely under no pressure, and Batorina runs straight on goal and puts it through the legs of Mike Maignan. And while Milan, up until this point, probably had a little bit more of the game, Zagreb were dangerous, and Zagreb had a teeny tiny chance of actually advancing themselves. However, all hopes for Milan were then completely dashed when Musa got his second yellow card. The first one already for a rather stupid pulling up an opponent that was injured, and the second one also completely unnecessary. The foul had already been given. Yellow-red card. He almost single-handedly dashed Milan's chances. However, in the second half, a few changes by Sergio Conceição, but Milan were under pressure because Dinamo Zagreb was pushing for the second goal. 2 goals for Dinamo Zagreb were actually disallowed, and Pulisic, and that's the way you pronounce him in Croatian, actually gets the equalizer with a really nice shot in the 53rd minute. I thought game on, but it was again Dinamo Zagreb who were a lot more pushing for the goal and then get the go-ahead goal through Piazza. Actually nicely taken. 2-1. Yes, then there was a penalty given that was called off for a foul in a build-up, which, yeah, Leao has his arm on the neck of the defender, but I honestly would have liked to not that been given. But be it as it may, Milan did have some chances to equalize, something that would have given them the 9th spot in the draw. So we're not even talking about top 8. A draw would not have been enough. But they were too hasty. Okafor and Chukwueze had 2 good chances, but just too quick in finishing. A little bit more patience and you might have gotten an equalizer in the end. A really, really disappointing night in Zagreb. And now I'm not looking forward to the derby at all. Wouldn't you know it? Dortmund not only got the first win of the new year, but also announced a new coach, I think, this morning as well. They took on Shakhtar Donetsk, beat them 3-1 at home. However, Shakhtar Donetsk actually were at times really well in the game. The go-ahead goal after shot by Adeyemi through Gira C, kind of deflected into net, was not necessarily announcing itself. However, then Gira C also makes a second goal. A really bad mistake by Gregor Kobel allows Marlon Gomez right at the half to pull one back for Shakhtar, but then Bensebaini scores to secure the final scoreline. Dortmund finishing ahead of Bayern in 10th spot. If results would have fallen their way and they would have ran up the scoreline, Arsenal could have actually snatched 2nd spot from Barcelona, but they finished only in 3rd spot. Girona actually did take the lead through a Danjuma goal nicely from way outside the box. However, the goalie was also way too much outside. However, then a Jorginho penalty in the 38th minute and a really nice Nwaneri goal turned the game around in Arsenal's favor, and then they just see it home as Duane goal was disallowed for an offside also in the second half. And a similar story applies for Inter, who got actually a pretty big 3-0 home win over Monaco, and everything fell their way early on. I mean, Monaco give away a penalty, Zakaria fouls Marcus Thuram, former Gladbach teammates, and in the 4th minute Lautaro already gives Inter the 1-0 lead. Then Mavisa Elebi is sent off for a last man foul again on Marcus Thuram, and then Inter just with an onslaught, Barella assists Lautaro Martinez, second goal. But Inter then let it slide a little bit, kind of content with 4th place. I mean, you had potentially a chance for second, but you would really have to have gotten a huge win. And then Lautaro Martinez actually completes his hat-trick after being assisted by Mkhitaryan, who just ran through the defense. Arnautovic was watching on there. In this form, Inter do look scary. After their rough loss against Barcelona in the last week, Benfica were staring at a potential elimination. However, they go from almost being eliminated to a seeded spot in the playoff and facing a French team in the process as well. They win 2-0 at Juventus, the goals being scored by Pavlidis and Kökçü. Thus, Juve actually plummet down to 20th spot, where they might face Milan. That is actually a reward for them, I would think. Meanwhile, Lille get a very emphatic 6-1 home win over Feyenoord and secure 7th spot in the table. So they are already through to the round of 16. If they would have lost to Feyenoord, the Dutch would have had this spot. However, this was always going Lille's way, and unfortunately former last captain Tigana Trana had a horrid game. Zaguari gave Lille the lead with a really nice billiard shot. However, then Trauner assists Santi Jimenez in the 14th minute to get the equalizer, but then Trauner scores his first own goal in the evening just before the halftime break. Gomes in the 57th, 3-1. Jonathan David, 74th, 4-1, and then Trauner with another own goal, and Cabella add 2 more. Utter destruction, and I guess after the big win against Bayern, Feyenoord's coach Priske still under loads of pressure. But the big fixture was definitely Manchester City potentially being eliminated playing Club Brugge, and that game actually had City quite sweating because Club Brugge defended well. City had a lot of stale possession as usual, didn't have a shot on goal in the first half, and Club Brugge actually took the lead after Jude Klar run really brilliantly, finds Onyedika, who gives them the lead in the 45th minute. However, Guardiola makes some changes, brings on Savinho, and then it's a very uncharacteristic City goal where Kovacic runs through the defense and slots it home to get the equalizer. Then it's a little bit up and down. Bruges actually came out to win this one as well, but then a Guardiola cross in is deflected by Ordóñez into his own net, and in the 77th Savinho makes it 3-1. City go through, but also Bruges, who's just secured a 24th spot. Liverpool obviously knew that they would finish at worst in second place, and so they played a glorified B team at PSV Eindhoven, who still had something to play for. PSV get the 3-2 win in a rather crazy game where all the goals came in between the 28th and halftime break. Cody Gakpo, former PSV player and one of the few starters that actually played with a penalty, gave Liverpool the lead, equalized by Bakayoko. However, Harvey Elliott re-established the Liverpool lead, but just before they have Saibari and then Pepe turn it around in PSV's favor. No more goals in the second half. Nalo is sent off for Liverpool as well with a straight red card. But Liverpool finishing first, thanks to Barcelona not winning, and PSV go all the way up into 14th, so they're seeded in the playoff round. Meanwhile, a 4-1 win at Salzburg, an easy 4-1 win it has to be said, gives Atletico Madrid the 5th place in the overall table, so through to the round of 16, and they didn't really mess around. In the 5th minute already, Giuliano Simeone, assisted by Julian Alvarez, gives Atleti the lead, and then Antoine Griezmann in the 13th, and just before halftime doubles it up. Llorente in the 63rd, a 4th, and then Salzburg scored the first home goal of this Champions League season in stoppage time through the game. Bologna may have already been eliminated, however they gave it their all at Sporting Lisbon and took the lead in the 21st minute through Pobega after he was in the way of a Bukema shot, and it seemed like Bologna could hold on. Yes, Sporting tried, but they in the end get in the 77th minute the equalizer, which meant that Sporting just made it through to the playoff round in 23rd spot. But that was a positive showing by Bologna that also shows even if you're eliminated, you can give it your all. The same thing can be said about Sturm Graz facing Leipzig in a meaningless duel overall in terms of standings. However, whenever there's an Austrian team meeting a German team, there's a lot at stake. Fun fact, Leipzig had more Austrian players in the starting lineup with 2 than Sturm Graz, who only had 1.5 if you would like. I also want to note I've reversed the colors out there as I do not have a white Leipzig jersey as well. Sturm Graz started out well, however, Leipzig then got better in the game and it was Hjel Skerpen who really kept Sturm in the game. And then a Chukwani corner is put by Malic on the goal. That's the half Austrian if you would like. And on the rebound, he converts in the 42nd minute to give Sturm the lead. Then Baumgartner probably should have equalized after a Gertreuder shot was saved again by Skerpen, and then Baumgartner empty net but puts it over the bar. Second half though, I thought Sturm really held their own and actually put some pressure on Leipzig. They thought they have gotten the second goal through Willy Böwing. However, Jata in the build-up fouled Orban. Leipzig tried. I don't want to say they didn't. However, I thought the Sturm Graz really saw this home rather expertly and finished the Champions League on 6 points and bragging rights over Leipzig. In the second completely meaningless game, unless pride is at stake, Crvena Zvezda actually take revenge on Young Boys Bern, who eliminated them last season to not get into the Champions League. The winning goal came through Kanga in the 69th minute, so Young Boys finish on 0 points. And then we leave one of the most impressive performances for last. Stuttgart and PSG could have played out a draw and both would have gone through. However, there's so much power in this PSG side that cannot be contained. Or in the 6th minute, a corner kick is headed by Desiree Doué towards Barcola, who puts it in the net. And then it was the Barcola show. I mean, Stuttgart had their one big chance to equalize through Fürich, and exactly from that counter-attack ball goes to Barcola, who finds Dembélé, empty net, 17th minute, 2-0. That settled the game. And then Ousmane Dembélé scored 2 brilliant goals to complete his hat-trick. The first one in the 35th minute from a really acute angle, and the second one also a really nice shot. One times it after Hakimi just passes him to him in the 54th. Stuttgart pull one back, but it's a Pajot own goal. So all goals scored by PSG, who go through. At times Stuttgart had still a chance to go through in 24th place. However, they finished outside of the playoff spots. PSG go within 2 games from 25th all the way into 15th. So they're also seeded in the playoff and will face a Ligue 1 opponent. I've said it before, following all this action was a little bit tedious, and this big league table, I see there's a big positive, especially the way that the bracket and the draw sets up. I'm absolute favorite of that, but it is all very, very hard to follow. You really have to get it because you have to keep so many permutations in mind, or you follow it all the time. But I'm streaming, and so every app is a little bit ahead of what I'm seeing, and that's annoying as well. In any case, final table, the top 8, we have Liverpool, Barcelona, the 1 and 2 seeds. Those two cannot face each other, and again, in groupings of 2, those 2 cannot face each other in the knockout round. Arsenal and Inter round out the top 4, so they cannot meet Liverpool, Barcelona before the semi-finals. Then we have Atletico Madrid and Leverkusen, and the surprise team Lille, and a little bit also Aston Villa. Atalanta is the first team not in the round of 16. They are 9th together with Borussia Dortmund. Then Real Madrid and Bayern will also not be able to face each other until the final. That's a good news for them. And then Milan and PSV are kind of seeded together. PSG and Benfica are the last seeded teams in the playoff. Unseeded Monaco and Brest, Feyenoord and Juventus are packed together, potential Milan opponents, Celtic and Manchester City, and Sporting and Club Brugge as well. Dinamo Zagreb, a win against Milan is not enough since Sporting did get the equalizer against Bologna at home. I really want to highlight Bologna actually finishing quite credible, but also Sturm Graz very much outmatched most of the time, but competitive in most of the matches that they've been in, except for the one at Atalanta last week. And they get 2 wins against Girona and Leipzig. Whereas Leipzig, Salzburg, all the way down. Slovan and Young Boys, a little bit disappointing. I'm especially disappointed by Young Boys, but they're also not doing well in the Swiss league this year. And before we talk about the draw, I want to also look at the favorites. Liverpool, Arsenal, Inter, Barcelona. Actually quite interesting. I think Barcelona is quite credible because I don't actually see them going that deep despite of them finishing second in this league table. Real Madrid, City, Leverkusen and PSG rounding out the top 8, whereas Bayern Munich, with a potential tough draw, have a really steep road to reach the final on their home ground. Milan 15th, and yes, I think Milan will potentially go out in the playoff round unless something really crazy happens. So really not happy with all of that. Before we look into the draw, I actually want to pull up this bracket that I made here when I say that, everything goes by the seeding. So number 1 goes on the left, number 2 on the right, number 3 goes on the right, number 4 on the left, and so on and so forth. So this is here, and have in mind, in every row the teams might be exchanged, but it gives you a little bit of a feeling how things might pan out. So we see in the upper quadrant there are a whole lot of French teams in there, or at least Ligue 1 teams. Liverpool, Barcelona, one of those will face potentially PSG, whereas the other ones should be foregone conclusions. I think then the next section is a rather even one. I mean, Aston Villa, Atalanta, all really nice teams, but all can be gotten it. Lille, Dortmund, Sporting, all, not favorites, let's put it that way. Then the next section is actually quite an interesting one. Man, we could have Juve, Milan and Feyenoord PSV playoff pairings. However, it can also already be switched around as well, and they face either Atletico or Bayer Leverkusen, so not easy. However, Leverkusen and Atletico Madrid also will not be exactly happy if they have to face one of the Italians. And then the next section, Arsenal, Inter, at least one of them will have to play either Real Madrid, Bayern Munich or Manchester City. I don't think that Celtic will make it out of the playoff round. However, famous last words. So this leads us now for the pots for the draw on Friday at noon. And you see a color coded. The yellow teams will face each other, the red teams will face each other, the blue teams and the green teams. And it is in such a way that first the teams are drawn out of the unseeded pot, and then they get drawn the corresponding seeded team. We see Atalanta and Dortmund face either Sporting or Club Brugge. Think this should be easy for either Atalanta or Dortmund, although Club Brugge and Sporting not to be underestimated. Then Real Madrid and Bayern face either City or Celtic. Both of them will be hoping for Celtic. I have a feeling that it will be Real Madrid against Manchester City because they always seem to meet each other. And then we have Italian and Dutch seeded against Italian or Dutch unseeded. It could be Milan, Juve, PSV, Feyenoord. However, it could also be Milan, Feyenoord, PSV, Juve. And then lastly, PSG will either play Monaco or Brest. Not a real hurdle, to be honest, when I see what they have done in the league. But Benfica also will like that they will play either of these teams. I will give out a short video after the draw tomorrow or Saturday evening, so wait for that as well. So that was it. The league phase is over. Was a little bit exhausting, but I want to give the format a chance. I think it is more exciting than what we had previously with the group stages. However, it's easier to follow the group stages. But the way that the draw is set up, this was really well done by UEFA. I think this adds some excitement to me, and that's why I actually like this format. Although I'm thinking, couldn't you make 2 tables of 18 and kind of pan it out this way? This should be at least considered, in my opinion, and then you can still draw it out. In any case, let me know your thoughts on the last match day, the draw, or in the format in general in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like these. I'll talk to you soon about more things in my soccer universe. Bye! Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, here are some videos and playlists that you may enjoy too. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the little bell icon so you get notified whenever something happens in my soccer universe. And with that, have a wonderful day. Bye!